making. It's not that hard, but like everything else, it's a step-by-step approach. Do one thing at a time, and you'll have a great spindle. Now, the front of our spindles is crowned. It's just slightly rounded away from the center line to a hard edge. The back of the spindle is rounded over. It is rounded over completely from the center line down to the hard edge. Let me show you on a dry erase board a cross section. I have already scribed a line on the side of the spindle. It's 3/16 of an inch from the face, and using my finger as a fence, I can replicate that line on the other side. And that's going to give me an opportunity to round over, or excuse me, to crown from this center line down to what will become a hard line here. And this is the crown right there. And this will be a hard line, and this will be a hard line. Now on the back, what I want to do is I want to round over. So I'm going to make myself some marks, and this will just kind of help me as I work along to see how I'm doing. I'm going to use a grinder today, Festool grinder with 24 grit paper. And that will make very quick, efficient work of crowning and rounding over this spindle. Now, some of the people who had taken the classes, they will moan and groan because I made them do this with a rasp. And that's the way to learn. It's the way to learn how to pop a line out, how to make this hard line on this edge. But after you've made one or two, or even a whole set, you want to move on and maybe do it more efficiently. And so I understand. I'm going to show you how to do it with a grinder and do it a lot faster. But these lines are kind of a roadmap as to where I've been grinding and where I need to go. I really believe in marking out my work. So let's get the grinder, and first we're going to make a flat here 3/16 of an inch down on each side, working that crown on the front. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'll get a big flat on each side and start this nice big round over from the center line on the back all the way over. Now you notice this is not square here. This is not square. And so you want to be very careful not to take off so much that you're starting to decrease the width of your spindle. So you got to be very careful. That's where these lines come into play, because you can use those, look at them and see where you're getting close. And anyway, just watch and see what I do, and let's see if that helps you become a great, efficient spindle maker. Making a flat. Checking the line, and we get down to that line. Don't want to go any further. That's pretty good. A little more. Now I'm going to move up to the top. going to make a contiguous slat. Now try to tie the two together. Now I've got it crowned from the center line out to the edge here, that 3/16 inch line. Now I'm going to do the other side of that crown. Nice flat, down to the line. Now, a contiguous flat. I'm going to blend it together a little bit. Then I'm going to get right on top and with a little bit of pressure, but not much. Kind of smooth that out. Now, we've got a crown, and we can clean that up with a rasp when we go back to the bench. But now, let's turn it over and do that big round over on the bottom. All right, let's make a big 45-degree flat to start the round over on the back side. I like to work with just the outside edge of the sanding pad. Now a contiguous flat. Back and take out those ridges that you left. I'm going to drop down. Carefully. Work toward that line. Come back up, take out more ridges. Got a feel of it. That's doing nicely. I'll try to get a little closer to that red line. There we go. Now we're ready to flip it over and do the other side. Just as a rule of thumb, I like to make that first flat or 45-degree angle so that the edge of it, the flat, kind of lines up with the rest of my spindle. In other words, the side of the spindle here, the side of the 3/8 in, kind of comes all the way back. That would be about right for that first pass. Well, let's keep going, see what we get. Up on top, and we'll take off that center line. Feels pretty good, maybe just a little lower right here. I'm trying to have control, which is most of the time. I will cut my arms in and just sway my body a little bit, because you always want to be under control. All right, now I've got this nice and roughed out as far as the round over on the back, and the front of the lumbar support area is really good. Let's see what we can do at the bench. These are the tools that I use to take it the rest of the way, except for the sanding, of course. I love the rasp, the RU rasp. This is a 12-inch cabinet maker's rasp. It's a number 10 grit, and you can work small with it. You can choke up. You can work into the curves, and you can work the flats. It's just a great tool, and you can work big with it. Get those nice long strokes. It's got hand-stitched teeth, just a great tool. And then to clean that up, you can use a number 13 cabinet maker's, number 13 modeler's rasp. This is just a great tool for cleaning it up and getting in those smaller spaces too. I love it. Now, if you use a spoke shave, then you have to be very careful because of all the curves. You could just tear out a big chunk, and if you're not careful and if you're not experienced with the spoke shave. So I would practice a lot before picking it up and using it on one of my spindles. I do use it, but I have practiced. And then, of course, they're the scrapers. After you learn how to put a burr on a scraper, one of the best tools in the shop. This one is kind of stiff for cleaning up the marks left by the rasp, and then kind of a final finish with a much thinner, more flexible scraper. Those are the tools. Now let's get busy. Okay, I like to look straight down, right over the curves and the round over, and I'm looking to make it symmetrical first. So I'm going to work it. I'm looking for symmetry. All right, I'm going to stop and feel. But you're constantly, your orientation is looking at this round over. Straight down the back of that spindle is where I want to look. And you don't want to get it lopsided. No sirree. I think a lopsided spindle would really stick out, and would make you very unhappy. So let's work that. Now I'm working down closer to that hard line, getting closer, but I'm trying to keep a little bit of an angle. I don't want to go all the way to that hard line, which is in red still. I don't want to take that off yet. All right, looking here, that looks very even all the way around. I think I want to work it down here just a little bit more. Now, pick up the modeler's rasp. I can get a little bit closer now to that red line, but I don't want to take it away. Don't want to take it away. All right. It's looking nice and round. Now, pick up my good old stiff scraper. Yeah. This will clean it up in a hurry. Just love the scraper. And I start seeing some of that beautiful tiger maple curl pop out. This is gonna be a nice rocking chair. Of course, it could be the spindle for a high back. It could be the spindle for anything you want to put a spindle on. It's the same method, the same way to do it. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit here. Yeah. Now we'll try we can bend this one. You can kind of just make it conform. Yeah, starting to look good. Looking good. let's turn it over and we'll work on the crown side. See what we get. The thing about scrapers, you can push, and you can push and you can pull. And you can take those marks from the rasp right off, fine tune this line down here. Yeah. We can kind of go for it a little bit. All right, we've pretty well got this one roughed out. Nice and rounded over, nicely crowned on the front. Now, we'll worry about our shoulders on both ends when we get a little closer to the end of the chair project.